Hello and welcome to the Genlock podcast. I am Alex Jones Fever Dream Mediocrity 4.
It is me, high-powered, who is now the new owner of the holding company that owns the holding company that owns Rooster Teeth. And due to budgetary constraints, we had to kill off basically the entire staff of Genlock. So, sorry, not sorry, but also kind of sorry at the same time.
I'm Coop, and if you look at a chimp, that chimp can rip your face right off, man. Have you ever done DMT?
Hey, Jamie, can you pull up? Oh God, are we just gonna do Joe Rogan memes this entire time?
I mean, he's trending on Twitter right now, so why not?
Oh man.
Gotta get that YouTube algorithm working for us for once.
Yeah, that is right. Oh man, is it bad? Like, no joke, is it bad that I want like some internet contrivancy to spiral out of control? And then that somehow makes it to where like I end up like showing up on his podcast having to explain the autism pit that is Rooster Teeth's fandom.
That would be excellent. I'd love that.
What a timeline that would be.
What a
I would
time to be alive.
Yeah, like I don't care. Like I would max out my credit card to fly out there and do it. Like
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So we had an episode of Genlock, and shit actually happened. And dude's not here right now. Dude is sick, but
he's got the cancer.
Yeah, he really liked this episode way more than I did, and I don't know how you two feel in relation to his opinions, but this is his favorite episode of the season so far, and I think
Overall, I liked it all right.
Yeah, on a pure like storytelling level, this it's weird because more happens in this episode than in all the other episodes probably combined. Like it's a real big like fuck you
big
moment.
Reveals.
Big reveals, big action, high stakes, lots of like breaking the status quo in half. But
I mean, it feels too like the formula for all these episodes seem pretty the same. Where it's like, oh, we've got like some downtime and a training montage, and then we have an action sequence, and we have essentially like that same like foundation, but it's taken to like its extreme for this episode, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, to get right into it, it picks up immediately after this one. They're literally on the airship, whatever you call it, back, and like right off the bat, Chase Blackman goes up to Fanny, and she is actually the one who reveals to us what it was that they poorly conveyed, which is that the robot is actually run by a copy of Chase.
Yeah.
And thus, now that he is missing both arms and can no longer be dubbed the Grievous Robot, we have unilaterally decided to rename him Nega Black Man.
Nega Black Man.
See, I knew that was coming because I already had that conversation with you, but it's still fucking hilarious.
Oh, it hurts in a good way.
Those old fighting games, like 90s style, like
Yes.
old school Mortal Kombat, where you're like selecting your character and then it says the name in this epic voice. You got like Chase Blackman, Miles Mexican, Nega Blackman.
No, it's like the yearbook photos where it's like X person, the cooler X person. It's like Chase Blackman, and then the image next to it is the cooler Chase Blackman. So, I mean, like we might as well just go over like I mean the big reveal is essentially like the first part of the episode.
It's literally the first thing that occurs. It's the first conversation that happens.
Which I called, by the way. I pointed this out. It was either last week or the week before, where I was pointing out, like, there's kind of this formula that's formed, where they'll end an episode on some kind of poorly conveyed piece of information, and then start off the next episode with like an explanation of what we were supposed to take away from that moment. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Turns out that that the whole like let the good times roll and kill copy from last week was Nega Blackman talking about killing Chase Blackman, because Chase Blackman is actually just a copy of the original Chase, who got abducted somewhere down the line within the 4-year time skip.
I could see, and also too, that mech that was body snatched or just snatched was, if y'all remember, like the promotional trailers for this, that's the mech that's in like all the little like 30-second shorts that were happening at the end of all the Ruby episodes and stuff.
Yeah.
So
basically, they get off of the airport, whatever, and Chase Blackman is as pissed as his mild-manneredness allows him to be. So
because God forbid we have an angry African on the screen.
Yeah, well, he may not be able to be angry physically or emotionally, but he is red-blooded, and so that makes up for quite a bit of it. So anyway, then Yaz has to kind of calm him down by telling him to maybe not lay into the docks so hard, because apparently they owe him stuff. Which, I mean, she ain't wrong.
Well, I also, there's a point that I want to bring up, like whenever we get to it later, though. I mentioned this to media, I think Saturday or Sunday in DMs, but I'll bring it up once we get to that point of the episode.
If it's pertinent now, you might as well say it.
Okay, this is my shitty headcanon, is that the doc's banging out Yasmin.
Oh, yeah.
I can dig it.
So there's two things in the scene I want to address. The first, I can't even remember what the first one was. So, one of them is the dumb fucking red versus blue reference that they throw in for no fucking reason. It has nothing to do with anything they are talking about. And I pointed that out on Twitter because, like, Rooster Teeth's fucking, doing what they do, jerking themselves off to their own fucking references to their own products that nobody in Genlock was involved in, by the way. Nobody working on Genlock worked on the first season of Red vs. Blue. The closest is, like, Bernie and Matt, who are, like, executive producers. Do you know what an executive producer is? It's the guy who, like, runs the studio and just, like, doesn't even, like, directly sign the checks. He signs the guy who signs the checks. Bernie and Matt are the ones who sign his checks. Like, that's what an executive producer on a show does. They have no creative input into Genlock as a series, and they're the only two people in that entire credit list that was part of that first season of Red vs. Blue. It's not a reference to previous work. It would be the same as, like, if fucking what's the new Harry Potter dog shit movie? Crimes of Grindelwald.
Is it
Yeah.
that, like,
it
the
would
prequel
be like,
about
yeah.
what's his name? Or is it?
No, it's such a dumb movie. It would be like if
it
would be like if Crimes of Grindelwald made a reference to, like, fucking Batman 1989, just because they're both owned by Warner Brothers.
Wait, is the Crimes of Grindelwald like a prequel to Harry Potter where
Yeah.
it's like it's about what's his name, the
Uh,
bad guy who shall
no.
not be named?
No,
Or is it like a young Dumbledore?
He's not in the. He's not. A young Dumbledore is in the movie, but Voldemort is not. It takes place pre-Voldemort.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, well,
I'd be down for a Voldemort spin-off Harry Potter movie.
I wouldn't. Story's been told.
Yeah, there would be to that. It's like,
But seriously, those Fantastic Beast movies are like everything everyone said about the Star Wars prequels, but with none of the good that made the Star Wars prequels at least bearable. They're the worst prequel series like I've ever seen in Hollywood. They're worse than the Hobbit movies. They're a billion times worse than the Star Wars prequels. Crimes of Grindelwald is worse than Solo.
damn.
Yeah.
But
Fuck
anyway,
that movie. But yeah. Uh, and I pointed that on Twitter, like because Rooster Teeth made a tweet about it. I was like, oh, it's a vacuous fucking fan link reference that ties in nothing to the story, characters, themes, or anything going on in your actual show. And I even clarified later on after I got back from dinner that like a lot of the other references in Genlock are well done. The Star Wars reference from what was it, Episode 2? I really liked. Once the Gilbert Sullivan reference was explained to me, I got it and I liked it. I just didn't really get the reference at first. Um, oh god, what are some other? They've had other. The Ruby reference kind of worked for me. Like, yeah, and that's a Rooster Teeth product as well. But like, all it did was kind of create this confusion. Like, okay, so Rooster Teeth exists within the world of Genlock, a series created by Rooster Teeth. That's weird. Like, it was a weird reference, but like, whatever. It still kind of fit the what that scene was doing. Whereas this reference to Red versus Blue wasn't, and I really hate those kinds of references. It takes me out of the experience. It takes me out of the show, and it's lazy. It is padding. It's thematic substitute.
what
Um,
was the reference again? If
uh,
you
do you ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's greatest mysteries, isn't it?
yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Because that whole scene is Chase confronting the doctor about like hey, you knew what you and the colonel knew what this thing was and you didn't tell us. Why? And fucking Doctor Who pulls a fucking Ozpin and is like, "Oh, it's best not to cause panic." The freaking Genlock equivalent of not telling Team Ruby that the relic attracts Grim.
Uh,
Yes. The one thing, the one through line that we could probably trace through any Rooster Teeth production is the all-knowing character being not so all-knowing and kind of a shitter.
yeah.
Um. So. I mean,
The other thing I wanted to address, and this is a positive, with this revelation of like how deep kind of Chase's recovery went, and with the copies and the origins of Nega Blackman, it was the first time that the 4 year time skip felt earned. Um,
yeah.
well,
It honest.
this and to a lesser extent, like Dakota Fanning's relationship with Chad Thundercock, like that kind of like okay, yeah, 4 years that would happen naturally. Like she's moved on, but this is the first time that I really felt like it was earned to the point of actually benefiting the show. Whereas like yeah, the Dakota Fanning Chad Thundercock relationship that did kind of validate the 4 year time skip, but love triangles are usually not good. And so I kind of saw that as a negative consequence of the 4 year time skip. Whereas this, like, it's all like it made the 4 year time skip all fucking gold.
Yeah, it kind of did retroactive validate it in that they kind of we understand now why they need to have it happen so that all of these events could play out.
Because now, like, I know it's Yasmin will now take the places like the Doctor is in, like, well, I don't even know how much Yasmin knows too. Like, she probably knows about like him being a copy, but like, does he know like, does she know what he's been up to? Like, like how much of his service that he went through? That's kind of a fair question to ask. Um,
Well, from what I can tell, when the first iteration of him got kidnapped or whatever, that he was kind of flying solo at that point. So she,
Yeah.
so like that's. I mean, they could. There's. I mean, they could decide that she knows, but I would be fine if it didn't. We had
Yeah, I'd
she
be
was
fine.
still there.
I'd be fine either way. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Um, although again, like either way, so long as we're kind of either told or shown that she knows, because in the later on in this episode, and it's the second time it's come up in the series, the idea that like Yaz and Chase have never done the mind meld, and Yaz has wanted to. Like Yaz is like, she tries to mind meld with Chase, and he refuses, and that's a potentially interesting dynamic to explore later on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're going to really get around to that.
Yeah. That's. I don't. I
To me,
don't.
the whole mind melding thing is kind of just like it. To me, it feels like it's the way of like I don't want to say it's a lazy way of writing because I think it gets the point across. It's just like like this is them like this is the like height of their teamwork
Yeah.
is the whole
It
like mind
kind
melding
of
thing
it
and
kind of cheapened.
comfort with each other.
I don't see
Yeah.
why they would like. You know, obviously they would explain this later, but I don't really see any like really good reason why he wouldn't want to, unless he thinks mind melding with a girl is icky or something.
Well, it's the
Yeah.
wrong girl.
Um, well, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, something later on in this episode kind of cheapens the whole mind meld thing. Um, but we'll get to that later. So,
Definitely,
yeah,
it's fucking bullshit.
they explain, what Nega Black Man is. There's this like little sequence, that's told in flashbacks that are. God, I swear that the frame rate in the show. I don't want to address it again, but like those flashback bits were going literally 4 frames per second. Um,
Yeah,
like I can handle low frame rates. Anything like above 15 is fine with me. But when you keep switching frame rates on the fly with no rhyme or reason, that's when it bothers me. Um, that's when it bothers anyone. Um, and that's when it kind of stops being a stylistic choice. So after that, Nega Blackman starts just rolling up on them like he owns the fucking place with
because
with one of the crabs from Code Lyoko.
apparently interdicting your enemy's troop movements is not a thing in tactics of the future. I mean,
You think
fuck.
they would have like seismic sensors around the base so they could detect like troop movement? Because I have a feeling that thing prancing around probably gets picked up on a Richter scale.
While I also have a feeling that their secret base is probably deep inside their own territory, so how the fuck is it that bad guys can just roll up whenever the fuck they want?
I mean, I mean, the holons are like 40 feet tall, and this crab has to be like 20 to 30 times that, and nobody like saw it. Like I don't care
It
if it
was
even has.
cloaked.
They couldn't see the dust it was kicking up.
I
Dust was
would
cloaked too.
assume that Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo have a perfectly good explanation of why this giant enemy crab was able to sneak up on the base. Probably something about interdimensional pedophile demons or something. I don't know.
Well, you see, you gotta understand. Okay, here's the thing. I'm kind of retarded.
Soundbite of the fucking century. Alex
Thank you,
Jones is a
Alex Jones.
freaking treasure.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Uh, and then the rest of this episode is really just action. Um, And this is also where
And it
the
doesn't
episode,
overstay its welcome. Like there's moments where like it's allowed to breathe too. Like it
yeah.
takes like breaks. Like it,
Well, and
it's
it's kind of diverse in its action.
Yeah,
Because you get moments like Chase Black Man drop kicking Nega Black Man into the dirt, and they get in like a fist fight, uh, and then you get things like Val and Kazu doing their stupid freaking dance routine, and then you get
that
things
was
like
fucking bullshit.
yeah, you get
I sh-
Chase. Yeah, you get this kind of aerial duel with some of the jets and Chase and the flying drones that the Union uses. You get interior stuff with like guns and hand to hand combat with the cast outside of their Holons, because I'm really liking the kind of the vulnerability that that the cast has with like, oh, they could be kicking all sorts of ass in their Holons, but one fucking Union dude rolls up into their lab and shoots them, they're
it can't do
screwed.
shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love how Chase is like, I'm gonna stay out here because my body can't run. Like
Yeah.
I'm more useful out here. I like that he's the one who stays behind for that. That's a very logical sequence of events there.
Here's why the interpretive dance seems bull. Okay, and it has nothing to do with the dance itself. It was very well choreographed.
It
I
has everything to do with the OK symbol, so that means I have to punch myself because I saw it.
uh, that, and also, the main thing is, I wanted to see a big ass samurai robot stabbing some spider robots, but it kept cutting to that stupid bullshit. And like, in fact, I would say that most of that scene is taken up by said bullshit. And I didn't actually get to see the spider robots being stabbed. I just have to assume that they're being stabbed while this thing is going on. I'm like, well, fuck. Now I feel cheated out of seeing spider robots getting stabbed.
Yeah, kind of like how every action scene I feel like we were cheated out of Ace Combat style aviator anime.
Yeah. By the
There's
way,
even like a little bit
magnificent.
too of like random pilots just flying around shooting shit too. Also, like we get the whole gamut. And there's like fucking warthogs rolling around shooting stuff. Uh, we have the walkers and
Yeah, you got the little like Metal Gear things.
Metal Gear.
Uh, so the biggest problem with this episode, it has nothing to do with the writing, and it's all over this action scene. This is one of the worst directed, one of the worst, uh, like edited action scenes I think Rooster Teeth has ever done. I think, probably not quite up there with the Battle of Haven from Ruby Volume 5, but it's worse than anything else that's been in Genlock, and worse than anything that was in like Red versus Blue, at least, and worse than anything else in Ruby. Like the only thing that would even come close and possibly surpass it even is the Battle of Haven. Um, there's like just an example. They use shaky cam during like one of the aerial sequences with Chase shooting a bunch of the flying drones. They never put anything of substance in the center screen, in the center frame. It's always like moving around. The camera's always like just moving and shaking and like on the ground looking up at things at weird angles that make no sense, and things are teleporting here and there and everywhere, and it's just almost impossible to follow at points. And I think that's the worst thing about this episode, and probably this entire season so far, which is why I can see some people saying that this is the best episode in the season and others saying it's the worst, because yeah, a lot of the story stuff that they do is really good, but it's so much of it is so poorly conveyed and so poorly rendered and so poorly like put together that it distracts from what is good instead of the other way around. Y'all can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes we can. We were just letting you finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was done.
Oh, we might have Dashie coming on, but
Oh.
I don't know. I told her just to hop onto the voice channel, and I'll
Tell her,
pull her down.
tell her to
Ah.
get off our lazy ass.
No.
Get in.
uh. So then, let's talk about the sequence that happens. Oh, actually, I want to say my piece about Val and Kazu. Um,
Thought it was gay.
I thought it kind of cheapened what they were going for with the mind melding. They have a different word for it. I can't remember what the actual word for it is now. Mind
Linking or
linking,
uplinking or
uplink,
whatever the fuck they want to
whatever it is. It's mind
Hold up, wait.
melding.
I think I might have it. If I look here.
Yeah, whatever it is. Um, it was very clear in other things that was like this really, strong, kind of required the strong connection, and you can see things through other people's eyes and feel them, and help them out in combat. But in this, she takes over, and I don't it doesn't make any sense. Um, especially since it's like, why couldn't Kazu just, slice himself out? Why did he have to have
Uh,
Val looking through his eyes in order to be a competent fighter? It's really making Val out to be a Mary Sue.
well,
Dashie's on. I'll drag her down.
Ha! Too late. I already pulled
Oh.
her in.
sweet. How's it
Uh,
going?
It is all boys, yes?
yes.
Hi.
Lilly might be hopping on too also, because if she's on, then I'll just pull her down anyways.
Yeah, we're kind of just free forming it because not as many people watch these podcasts, and we're just having fun talking about the newest episode of Genlock.
Damn. Stab
And
me
we're
straight
also-
in the heart, why don't you?
Hey, I'm the one who has to yeah.
Oh.
So how are you doing,
It's not
Dashie?
started yet. Just being me. Actually woke up not too long ago.
And what were your thoughts on
Yeah.
thing
We
question?
have started, by the way. If you didn't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Yeah.
We've already been over like the first.
Special guest Dashie Lee now. Let me
Yeah.
see if I
Hi.
can. Yes.
Thanks for letting me know. I could have totally been like, other things.
Hmm.
Oh.
Nice to know that you time in your busy schedule to deign to come down from your ivory tower.
Who, me?
Coop and Dashie have never talked with each other before.
No, we
This
haven't.
is
That
this
I
is
was like,
fun.
who is this dude?
Yeah.
Coop is our resident war criminal. By
He
war criminal, I mean he's a marine, so that means he's a war criminal in training.
he's also
Hey,
he's also
it's
like
not war crimes if you win the war.
he's also like our Discord's top shit poster. So
Oh, my kind of guy.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. Good times. Okay, I'll have to check out your work.
Well, he is only the seeker of memes. He's not like Saber will make his own, but he has his ways of finding all the best and darkest and most fucked up memes he can.
I like dark. I like
They're
dark
just
as
out
well.
there. Really.
Yeah. I like
But
it.
anyway,
So what's the question?
so the question is, okay, so we've basically gotten all of
The
stuff
yeah,
out of the
all
way
yeah,
up
all
until the big fight scene. Like, do you have any thing to add in basically the entire first half?
The entire first half.
Yeah.
Where do I begin? Let's see. the
I mean,
fact.
you'd want to start at the tip and then work your way down.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I need to make sure it's slowly, but I feel like I'm being rushed, so I'm going in for a quickie.
You are being rushed. Look,
Let's see. Well, some of the animation was a little like janky, but I don't really care about that. I
Hello.
care. Hello.
It's happening.
oh man. Oh, the numbers. Oh,
So then, okay,
The numbers, Mason. What did they mean?
it was just a little.
Pourquoi?
I should go then. You guys are good.
no.
No. You know, chill for
No,
as long as you want and make your peace. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I already like you better than Lilly. So,
Damn. Oh
Ooh,
my.
sick burn.
Oh Jesus! You said that out loud.
But
and
then again,
everything,
this
huh?
is coming from Coop, so I can live with it.
Wow. I gotta get to know this Coop guy, dude. You and me later.
you will.
Okay. So yeah, no, just that I'm loving the story. Like it's pretty intense, and if the show makes my body move, and yes, yes, like especially like with the action, I'm I love it. It's I when I watch things, I feel things like I was saying before, and it makes me feel stuff. I'm the positive one, so if I need to complain about something, it's just some of the animation. In fact, some of it too is on the other way on the other side of the spectrum is too good to where it makes me like motion sick. It
Mm-hmm.
makes me motion sick? No, it gives me motion sickness. So I love it. I absolutely love it. The whole dance thing, people have beef with that. I get why, but I thought that was pretty classy and pretty original and sexy AF, like I said. So I don't know. So far, so good for me.
Yeah. I agree. We're kind of in the consensus that a lot of the story beats in this episode were really good, whereas the animation was a little all over the place, and the cinematography and editing in some of the like flying sequence especially were really choppy and used a lot of shaky cam, which is nauseating. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Coop brought up a good point that like the reason why he doesn't like the dance scene is because we could have just kept the camera like on the mechs slicing through spider robots, so he felt gypped out of like seeing more spider robots dying every time it cut to the interwebs or whatever it was, the Mega Man battle network setting.
So you guys think that the spider robots are actually like robots and they're not being manned?
Oh no, they're
I.
manned.
Oh yeah, I think that they're definitely manned.
Coop wants them to be manned.
Yeah. So we can nice get a sword to the face. Beautiful.
I mean, that's the best part about Mecha is, you've got this
A
very
two-story
damage
sword.
resistant box of metal, but inside that box of metal is a very vulnerable sack of flesh that's a human, that's
I
a
Just
mean,
pilot
they can also
piloting
be
it.
our seed, though. They can also be our seed. You can't just you don't know, do we? I don't think we
they
know with that,
they
do we?
they could, but they probably aren't
I
because
mean,
like
for all we know, there could just be like a really enthusiastic hamster running in a wheel in there that's powering that whole spider robot. For all
Yeah.
we know.
pretty much, yeah. Though
Hamster punk.
Before we go on, I just need to ask Coop this. How did you feel when that dude got like punted by Cammy?
oh
Yeah,
that,
last week.
oh yeah, um that was fine.
That's it. All right. Check.
I like it. I like it any time a full bodied human just gets punted to the fucking sun.
I
You
think
see,
like
like,
he is like the
uh,
body separate, right? Like arms and legs, probably.
Yeah.
All right.
I my thing with that is like it was a good little like bit, but then it gets immediately overshadowed by Kazoo like Hulk bustering his way in and just like being a bull in a china shop.
Marry me, Kazu. Yep.
That is the
Hashtag.
appropriate
Hashtag.
reaction. Yes.
Hashtag marry me, Kazu. Amen.
So Lily, what did you
Yep.
think about this episode? Up to like the final moments. We'll get your thoughts on this now.
Let's just say I kind of have some dumb bitch disease, and I'm just now looking through this because, yeah, kind of had a busy day, but so far I'm liking the fact that we have more information about. We're getting more context for what is behind Genlock, what's going on, and getting more insight from the Doctor rather than just someone who's sort of like the salesperson or the person who's like selling this. We're getting more of his entanglement in the process of how this was made, and even maybe something that's a bit more interesting about Chase and his just one what is the integrity of his own existence right now? Because he's already been likened to a ghost in many ways. How hollow is his own presence now? Which is at least an interesting theme to start seeing with him.
Yeah, it's
and we gotta make sure to let Lilly and Dashie know our new updated name for the General Grievous robot Chan. It's what was it, Negazord or
no,
Nega
it's
Chase?
Nega Black Man.
Yeah, Nega Black Man.
Oh my Christ. What is wrong with you people?
What is wrong with Coop? He's the one who came up with all these names for the characters.
What is wrong with a show in this day and age using evil doppelganger trope? Come on.
You broke up using a
Don't
doppelganger
kill
for
the
a
messenger.
Pokemon?
That's all I'm saying.
No, he's making a joke that like, hey, what's wrong with using the word nega?
Oh no!
Oh no.
I will slowly exit this room.
Exit stage right.
Yes, want to come with me? Let's go. Hold hands. Just give away.
Lily would like that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Pourquoi?
Low key trying to matchmake Dashie and Lily right now. Oh wait, did I say
Damn.
that out loud?
Media, shame on you. You know I cannot be tied down.
The hetero,
There-
and plus, I'm sorry, but hetero, no, you cannot match me. Absolutely not.
You both like the females, so
Enough alcohol can do many things.
What?
we have
Just
we
because
have, we
I
have
like Begania doesn't mean you can. We are not like opposite ends of magnets. We do not.
we have. I just
We
want to
don't
let you
all
know.
meet
I'm like that.
You know, we don't all know each other, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know that there are 5 people in this chat right now. 3 guys, 2 girls, and every single one of them likes girls. So, just
True solidarity.
that is true diversity right there.
I don't have any solidarity with bad girls.
But
What, am I a bad girl to you?
Yes.
hello.
How
Good
am I
girls
a
like
bad?
the...
I also like the boys. It does.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean-
alright, you're a good girl then.
Yeah.
The only requirement...
I don't
like,
waste. I use it all.
This is slid out of control.
I love it.
Hmm.
Oh
Media,
man,
media, hush. You only like it because it gives you more inspiration for your smut.
Oh, I haven't told that all.
I am just
I have not. I
curious,
have not
but-
told. I have not like shared that with Dashie yet. So.
Wow.
Well, we can get to that.
Well, I guess you just did, and was I wrong? That I am your inspiration for your smut?
I'll send it to you later.
At least that's what you told me.
Well, you try so very hard.
Okay.
So back to the episode. I'm
Yeah.
way too tired for this shit. Back to the episode. The doctor, David Tennant. I have a theory. That he's
And he
not
copied
actually...
himself, and he's in the robot, and the robot's on a time release for the copied part of himself to take over the robot.
Did I already share that theory with you, or did you come to that conclusion independently? Because yes,
I came to that conclusion immediately.
Yeah, the butler robot, that beats the
Caliban.
fuck out, yeah, Caliban, who beats the fuck out of some Union dudes in this episode. That was awesome. I think he has the Doctor's brain, and so the Doctor's going to be like a robot for the rest of the show. That would be, pretty cool. It's all this theme of like transhumanism, and it's a staple of cyberpunk fiction. It's been done a million times, but I'm interested in stuff like that. Like a really clever use of that was in this is just fresh in my head because I just finished this series the other day. Land of the Lustrous. I finished season 1 a few days
Without
ago.
telling me, you jerk.
I was
I
I was
introduced.
bored.
Don't talk to me.
I
Don't
know
talk to me.
I know you introduced me to it, but I was also watching it with someone else after that, a friend of mine.
Jesus.
So
Wow, cheating on you, man.
See?
This
Damn.
A
is.
high-powered nose.
These
What-
hoes are not loyal at all.
I mean, all right. I'll give him a pass.
but I really
Call
liked.
him a disloyal hoe. Do it now.
I am.
Mediocrity, you disloyal fucking hoe. How dare
Oh
you?
my god.
Don't you ever. I'm going to use my strong pimp hand right now. Never mind. Just fucking talk about the episode. That's what we're here. Okay?
I am going to
Uh,
get that clip, put it on my phone because I just got off to that.
Nice. I mean, I got plenty more where that came from, baby. But you know, we're talking about Genlock, not me.
Oh gosh.
But no, I really like because with the original chase, it is the original chase, right? That's in the bad guy mech, like
Yes.
the original
Yes.
chase, and then the chase that we know and tolerate
He's Diet
is
Chase.
is the copy, and so it's like what makes someone, what makes a person, what makes a man, and you get like
The answer is a dick, by the way.
Oh,
No.
you know what this reminds-
Believe me, no.
You
oh,
know
No
what this
dick,
reminds
no
me
problem.
You know what this reminds me of? Is there's an episode, I don't know if it's the first season or the second season of Ghost in the Shell, which I'm going to spoil an episode of Ghost in the Shell, where basically Sniper Dude is getting stalked by like his crazy ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah, Saito.
And
was so
she
badass.
basically goes through, like, she basically ends up like copying herself to look like him and act like him. And the episode ends to where it could basically be left open to interpretation, to where either Sniper Dude survived or Sniper Dude has been replaced by the crazy ex-girlfriend. Like, it could be opened either way. Someone's dead. So that's how that episode can be interpreted. And so that's kind of the vibe that it's a similar vibe that I'm getting to, but it feels more like with with Nega Black Man. It feels like the original, in air quotes, of Chase was just like, oh, we got this robot now, so we're just gonna like poke it until it does the things that we want it to do. And then we have the copy of Chase, which doesn't know he's a copy until like now. So it does beg the question. It's like, what does it need to be a person in like self? It's like, is it, having a vessel that contains the soul, or is it all of the memories and experiences that add up together to create that said soul? So
yeah.
So
who knows?
It
And with
also
all the
reminds
jokes
me.
that you've made with high powered, like, with like, hey, let's upload my brain to a toaster. Inadvertently or not, Genlock has reached that level where a person's identity, or at least, like, these are, like, Nemesis and, I mean, Chase both seem like these are both, at least on some level, equivalent to, like, human souls or whatever the fuck. So it's kind of a question of which one is prioritized, or even how can Genlock, with its current technology, give way to, impressions of the same life. Suddenly, what scope do you view that in? On the same tier, as something lesser, and how does one define that state of being or life?
So like, here's the
Ethics
thing.
part of it all.
Like, I'm kind of over that whole like sort of thing where like the open stuff of that. I'm really like down on that stuff as a whole. Precisely that, is like, at this point, anything that asks a question fails to provide an answer, I just feel like is wasting my time. That's just like a personal feeling of.
I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like the Nemesis thing is very much like, okay, here's dark foil of character, and rather than having a character, from the get go, having had this trauma and you have to unpack it, if it's like a part of their context as a character. Meanwhile, we have Goody Two Shoes who can't do no wrong, or who has been scrubbed of all this. It's like, one is a nothing burger, one has been reduced to basically, well, just
A
evil
rabid
incarnate.
animal.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the whole one bad day thing from The Killing Joke, taken to an extreme.
It's logical extreme, yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
so-
say a technological extreme.
Well, here's the thing.
Ah,
It's not even just one bad, like, okay, so it's with this I think it makes more sense because it's not one bad day, it's a lot of bad days. Because one, this this guy also basically has the memory of getting his legs and shit airplane crash and whatnot, and whatever kind of crazy torture they put him in the brain, the egg scrambler, whilst he was being held hostage and were building a robot for him, plus whatever kind of washing they kind of did on him to
Now,
make him down with bad guyness.
here's the thing.
So,
Like, let's start about something. The whole thing with Cammy, when she hacked into her brain or whatever her personality thing, she hacked into it to change it to basically, roid herself up. I wonder
oh
if
yeah,
that's
they could just
possible
do
with
that shit.
Yeah, I
I
wonder if that was
totally
like
forgot
a
about that.
thing to show that that can be possible, and maybe that they did that with original Chase. It'd be like you can't
Oh
control
yeah, they
yourself because you
definitely
become
would.
a beast.
Honestly, as soon as they found the parental controls and figured out how to disable the lock by just typing in whatever they thought the
I
password
like the
was,
dancing. It's neat.
probably I love MILFs
Yes.
9278.
Milf.
No, it's password spelled backwards.
The most indestructible password of all.
No, it's Beacon with an E.
Damn.
Wait. Okay, so the dancing scene is basically basically Genlock's equivalent of Dancing with the Stars, and basically the concept of drip compatibility from Pacific Rim.
well, yeah.
It's also
Changed my
retarded
mind.
though.
Oh no, that's basically what it is. And also, you have to punch yourself because they made the OK symbol and you looked at it during that scene.
Yeah, that's the rules.
You got gotted.
Yeah,
I've been gutted many times in the server. I will live.
you must accept you got.
You can't get it if you want it to be get.
Yes, you can.
No,
It's
you
like my
can't.
saying: sometimes you get, and sometimes you get got.
It's true.
I mean,
Words to live by right there.
amen.
What if I got gets?
What
If
if
you
you
want-
got
if you want-
getted?
Then you gotta
If you-
get good.
If you want to be gotted, you weren't gotted. You've just been had.
That's great. I like
This is not a debate between the haves and have-gots.
all right, all right. We were
Uh.
done like a couple sentences ago. Okay, we were.
The only thing I will say is that while I like the whole sort of like astral plane dancing thing, I guess this might be more nitpicky, but it's more so okay. Battlefields is very much a flat canvas upon basically toy soldiers and tanks to be batted about, and I just keep thinking Voltron when I'm looking at these giant mechs.
Well, here's the thing that like open field like that. It's
It's
like
ideal for battle. I get that, but it's just more so.
it's ideal for
eh.
tanks.
Yeah, I guess it's just
Barely.
not that engaging to me, but that might just be more of a visual nitpick.
I like how when they're out of the Holons and they're running through the base and they're fighting the Union, they fight like similarly to how they fight in the mechs. Like that's a good little detail. Like you got Cammy who uses a drone. She uses like her little cat drone thing to like claw at the enemy's face while she beats him up. Then you got Val hanging back with the plasma rifle or whatever, and got Yaz with the pistol, using it with I think the same animation as her laser, and then as like the like motion she makes when she's firing her laser, and then
Does she hold the gat sideways
no
as if you were a gangster?
no that would be dumb.
1 out of 10.
And then who am I? Oh, Kazu. Kazu just goes and starts, punching things because, I mean,
Because he doesn't have a gun.
yeah,
He doesn't
I
need
mean,
a gun.
Because
They
why
were
wouldn't you?
racist and decided Japanese guy a gun.
They
He
gave
doesn't
him
need a gun.
give him a sword.
Oh man,
man.
is it bad? I feel the only thing that was missing from whatever Kazu was fighting was he didn't use his guitar to like brain someone with his guitar.
Shit,
No,
that
that's
would've been
it. That
great.
is pride and joy. Why would he ruin his guitar like that?
It is also very bad to do that too.
Yeah,
But
it would hurt to hit someone with a guitar. Like, I'm gonna
it,
throw that
it
out there.
does.
You think?
I've been hit with a guitar.
Well, no, like to hit someone with it, like it would hurt your hands because like the strings and the way it's shaped, it's rectangular. Like it's not good on your wrists to swing that thing around. It's not a sword.
Oh man, the other thing too is I like how Cammy. Oh god, this is the part that like kind of brings the episode down, but like not in a like in a feels way, but not like as in a bad way. Is whenever they're hiding in the room and they look behind and they're like, "Oh shit," as like they're like, "Yeah, go to the debriefing now, nerd," and then it
Yeah.
was actually just a surprise party, and they're all just like, "Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
oh."
Oh,
And then yeah, the
I
cake
mean,
was not a
yeah.
lie.
It's especially sad because those characters may or may not be dead now.
Ha! Suck it,
I
dead
don't think
guys.
There's no way they're dead.
No.
They all are wearing helmets. They're holding hands. It's
Yeah.
singing kumbaya.
So that was actually my theory, and I brought this up in the last podcast, and I brought it up earlier as well with the trend that Jinlock has of trying to convey information at the end of the episode, and doing it to mixed results, and then having to explain it at the beginning of the next episode. So I'm putting money on the next episode of Genlock starting with like the nano cloud is like surrounding the base, but the base itself is kind of like sealed up, or rooms of it, parts of it are sealed up, and so all these characters are like still alive, but now it's like ticking clock. Chase has to find a way to do something. Maybe
So
even
basically, they have panic rooms for.
yeah, and basically give Chase the sadistic choice of, does he chase I did not realize that pun. I did not intend it. Chases the other Chase, or does he save the people in the Vanguard? Does he like take out does he save what he loves, or does he destroy what he hates? This is a better version of this is a better version of Last Jedi.
Go ahead.
This is a better version of Last Jedi. Changed my mind.
Use the body as a battering ram. God.
According to this past episode, though, Blue Chase wanted to absolutely kill him. Like, why would he change his mind? They both wanted to kill each other.
The stakes are different. The stakes are different now. So he has to choose. Because I feel that the next episode is just gonna be like a big, like I feel it might not even be the next episode, like the final episode, assuming a good chunk of like the speaking cast that we know of that is still at the base are alive. It's probably just gonna be like one big Mexican standoff.
Now I'm gonna ask the same thing I asked in the reaction to you guys. Do you think evil Chase will hurt Miranda?
Yes, if he gets the opportunity to do so.
That would be an interesting weakness if he doesn't. It kind of, if that's the case, it'll remind me of in the comic books Ultron in Marvel Comics. He had a similar hang up over the Wasp, because Ultron was built by Hank Pym. He had Hank Pym's brainwaves. He had a lot of Hank Pym's personality. So he'd like fuck up all the other Avengers without giving a shit. But when it came to the Wasp, he's like, I can't even like grab her because that would like possibly hurt her. Like,
I think they're gonna use her to like calm him down. Like I said, like
it's almost like how Black Widow sings to the Hulk. Yep, that's there we go. It's like if that happens, then we could all be like, "Ha, we called it," and then we could dab on all the viewers.
Either way, it's going to be some kind of reference to Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So here's the question though:
but the thing is, like, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Coop.
What?
The dude, not the dude. Oh my god, what's your name again?
Coop.
Coop.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's me.
You thought yes, he's just gonna rip her head off. Is that right?
Well, no, okay. I didn't know who you were actually talking about because Never actually
Oh.
refer to her by her real name.
Oh, okay. Should I have said?
Dakota
So
Fanning.
no, I actually agreed before,
Okay.
but
Well, hey, it's
But-
General Chocolate isn't dead.
you know what would be a really cool fucking is if they're like, oh hey, he definitely won't try to murder his ex-girlfriend because of feelings. Then he fucking does it anyway, and it freaks
I mean,
everybody out because they were like,
oof.
oh shit, we didn't think he would do that.
Because the way he said, like Miranda, when she like
Yeah.
hydroplaned across the road and right in front of him, it was like almost as a panic. I think it was like Miranda. Like I don't know. I think he still can recognize her.
I like
Yeah.
how who was it in the reaction? Was it Raymond who was like, "Oh, he doesn't know that Miranda is banging out someone else now."
Well,
Or,
I originally
or
said
it
that,
was either Raymond or Fat Man that said that.
right. It was.
Yeah, that's true.
I had said that we don't know if he's in this time, but yes, he is in this time. He knows that there's another one, and time has passed. I don't think there's no way he knows. And you
Yeah.
know what?
Oh god, he finds out and just like rips Chad
Ah,
Chad
Thundercock.
Thundercock.
Like, he just
Oh,
rips him to
no.
shreds. That would be pretty metal.
Speaking
I'd
of
be okay
Chad,
with that.
yeah.
his
Boomstick,
voice
yeah,
acting is
yeah.
really like gets to me. And yeah, the whole boomstick thing, I was very disappointed to find out he was boomstick. Both Raymond and I were very disappointed because he was like, "How do I not get boomstick tearing up shit?" Like, so disappointed. But yeah, his voice
Missed
acting.
opportunities
Oh
abound.
no.
Just because when you guys have this face, we end up doing something crazy. I did not like that. I did not. It like took me out.
Yes, honestly, he should have been the one suggesting that they bomb this facility.
Yeah.
Prisoners still inside.
And I get it that they're different characters that he's playing. That's fine. But it was way too like.
Hey Sarge, you remember that village said that we weren't supposed to do anything to? Let's say hypothetically it doesn't exist anymore. What would happen?
Oh no. Oh no.
Military jokes are bad.
They're the best, actually.
So
Where you say
uh,
one bad joke, I see four.
okay,
Nice.
so
Damn.
speaking of the doctor, if he's had the gall to, so I think this is also kind of just playing into like, oh, like he's being played by the doctor, and I honestly have a feeling that David Tennant probably might have like poked through the script and made a few suggestions, and then they were like, yeah, sure, we'll like make this minor change real quick.
See, I've never
Definitely,
watched Doctor Who. Don't shoot me. So I don't know what
neither
you
have
guys are
I.
talking about.
It's
I've
not everyone's cup of tea.
I've seen it. It's yeah, pretty much. It's
It varies in quality.
just
I just don't know where to begin because I hear there's like 28 doctors. Or
Yeah.
you
something.
can
Okay.
start pretty much anywhere.
So
really.
a tip from a Whovian, because I am a Whovian. I am a big fan of Doctor Who.
Oh, you
don't-
actually should kill yourself then.
Jesus Christ.
Don't even try just getting into it on the whole. You really just have to start with the 2005 relaunch, go from there because all of those are easily available, and then just
I'm
like
sorry, you lost me on the whole. Sorry.
Basically, Doctor Who had one run like through like the later like 1900, whenever the fuck. Then it got
1900s.
rebooted in 2005 with Christopher Eccleston continuing
Oof.
as the Doctor as his 9th incarnation out of
Yes.
13 he gets.
There
That
you
role's
go.
been like amended and bridged, but he's 9 out of 13. He has a 1 season run. He does pretty good. 10 is his follow up, who has like about 4
Yeah,
seasons.
and that was
3 or 4 seasons as,
David, and that one was David Tennant.
Yeah,
David
and
Tennant,
he does the same voice he does as Doctor Well.
Yeah.
Watch Doctor Who.
So
All my hearts watch
well,
Stargate SG-1.
Here's the thing: any of the Doctor Who seasons, before the relaunch, are almost impossible to find. Like you'll only be able to find bits and pieces of them. And some of the episodes, from like the first several seasons, are like don't even exist anymore because the BBC did not bother like archiving them or keeping them like.
Oh yeah, and
there's
files
some,
like rewritten.
there's some that only
I'm sure
exist
Raymond
in,
can find
there's some that only exist in audio form. There's some that only exist in like narrative form through like the script still being around. There's some that like there's video and no audio to it because the audio is just lost to the sands of time. Like it's really just you have to like really cherry pick your way through older Doctor Who stuff.
Well, how about this when you and I do the Star Wars thing that you said we're gonna do? Just show me whatever Doctor Who you think I should watch.
Yeah, I'd say start with the 2005 season because that's the one that's still going on now. And that
because all the
it
Doctors are
does
pretty solid.
Yeah, it does a good job like easing you in and you know telling you what you need to know, and then anything else is just kind of like bonus like bragging rights. Like oh hey, I can name all 13 actors who have played the Doctor. That's all just bragging rights at this point.
Right.
So back to my shitty opinion.
Or not.
So which oh wow. Okay. So back
Nice
to my
job.
shitty opinion. Which I mentioned earlier is and the perfect time to bring this up too, especially since Lilly and Dashie are here. As they are like running out of the main control room, the Doctor is like, what was it like? Fly free, my little bird, or something like that.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm like, so in y'all's opinion, from Lilly and Dashie, do you think the Doctor was banging out Yasmin or something like that?
I have
No.
discovered a
No.
No, it was more like a father-daughter thing. I mean,
yes. I think
It can be both.
He saved
He's
her.
pushing it even for a silver fox. No. I mean, he may not be like Ozpin
wasn't
metaphorical
banging
old,
her
but
out. He was banging out her mom. Is actually
I am
daughter.
going to yeet you into the
Sigh.
sun. No, sigh.
I like it.
Only yeet. Only yeet.
All right.
Come on.
She got yes.
Yeet.
Her mom got taken by the while he stayed in the polity, and the Union, after years of harassing him for child support, caused him to want to seek vengeance on it by unleashing his giant robots, destroy it as a political entity, and therefore renege on his fatherly debts.
This is a rabbit hole I'm going to die on.
But yes,
Still already soaring.
so I'm personally of the opinion that the Doc has if he was willing to, he seems like the type of person, especially like from the previous works, and assuming if he's like done any sort of like convincing of the writing staff of what's going on, I would not be surprised if he's like, I have a contingency plan for my own death. So that's just me in my humble opinion. Either if he's got his brain copied on the robot or whatever.
Okay, so here's why I would have a problem with that. Okay, presumably having being able to copy one requires that you brain copy compatible, as we've been shown before.
Not to be copied. Yes.
Because it's the
That's
same.
to run a genlock, not to be copied.
That was my bad.
Is that specifically what it is?
Yeah, it's
Because
to run the genlock. Yes.
Oh.
Or they could honestly just do the thing too, like they did in iRobot, where it's just like, oh, I left a really complex program behind in case of my death.
Which is basically just a personality imprint. Hello.
Which
Hello,
is,
new me. I am now your Jarvis. Have fun.
right. I mean, he put his hand on Jarvis, on Caliban, on his chest, and said I guess the activation words or whatever, which was like Omega something.
the magic words
Right,
that
whatever.
unlock magic power.
You know, and wanted him to like acknowledge, and Caliban
At
did
least he had enough
and
faith
then
in the
green.
At least he had enough faith in the program for them to continue, and like, you know, he was willing to die for it in some sense. He may not be. I feel like it's almost too early for him to be dead.
Yeah, no,
But
he's not dead. There is no way he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because I don't really care. He already revealed pretty much everything that to know, more or less. I don't know.
And if anything, they'll probably just be replaced by one of the rescued scientists or whatever, as like
And
for the interim or whatever.
Right,
And if it does turn
Henry,
out
whatever
that
his name
they've
is.
got like fucking some weird, even deeper, darker secrets going on about him, then they can just reveal that through flashbacks.
Even more deep state secrets. Ooh.
Oh no.
Yes,
We're gonna
yes,
need a probe for this, aren't we?
yes, the glow in the darks do hold many secrets that
The
I
who?
no. Don't go. Don't dig
Genlock.
any further.
I'm not going to.
Don't
I'm not
dig any
going to
further.
tell you.
Just CIA
Keep it there.
people glow in the dark. That's all you need to know.
Me? Me?
Genlock.
This podcast is so fun.
The only glow in the darks I need are some rare goblins looking for even rarer fruits.
And the occasional glow in the dark dildo, but
Hey.
I haven't cruised that page of the Dragon Dildo catalog yet.
yet.
You can get any of them to glow in the dark.
Oh
There's a
my.
will,
That's
there's a
fucked up
way.
if you can't, though.
Just like with any dick, you have to activate them.
Guys, we're overcomplicating this. Glow stick. If you're brave enough.
Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough, though.
Oh no.
So I feel like if he stays like perma-dead, and they're just like writing him out of the show completely, that it's
Because
kind
it's
of a
too expensive.
that it's kind of a dumb bait and switch, because again, like the whole marketing behind Genlock was these voice actors. Like we got Michael B. Jordan, David Tennant, Dakota Fanning, Macy Williams, the dude who
One
voices
of these things is not like the others.
Because we can only afford to pay them for one part of this season. Haha, got him.
But like, it feels like this cast that they've been making on, they have to keep them on some level, even
They're
if
the metaphorical. They're the metaphorical show pony. If you
yeah,
will.
even if David Tennant is just like fucking what's his face from Power Rangers, Zohan or Zodan. I didn't watch Power Rangers as a kid.
Zordon.
Is his name Zord? Yeah, if he's like just literally the glowing like head in a giant tube from Power Rangers.
Of Power lore, nerd.
Like that, I feel like they have to keep him at some capacity. I feel like having him be in a computer or in a robot is better, because then they could just use him when they need to, and not like constantly be checking up on him just because he's still alive and around. That way, they don't have to pay him as much going forward, but he's still like there. They can't really afford to do like what they do with Ruby a lot of times, where they'll have like characters not even show up for several volumes at a time, because a lot of Ruby voice actors are in-house people, like Michael Jones.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jones isn't going to magically leave Rooster Teeth in the next 3 years while Sun Wukong is off having his solo adventures in Vacuo. So whenever Sun Wukong comes back into the plot, like they'll just have Michael Jones keep voicing him. You can't really get away with something like that, having David Tennant step away from the show and then try to bring him back in.
Honestly, though, Michael, if you're listening, just know that if you need help escaping, we are available. We will get you out of that dungeon. Just blink twice for yes.
What?
I'm very confused.
I am too. Like how would we know if he's watching this, and how would we see him blinking?
And if he's in a dungeon, how does he have the bandwidth to even be looking at us?
It's a very high quality dungeon, obviously.
So what? It's an Airbnb, but with more bars.
No, it's a proverbial dungeon. It's called Hollywood,
Austin, Texas.
It's called Hollywood. Oh goodness.
Oh,
I still don't know how they got Michael B. Jordan to like help front the bill for some of the show, because that's great. Gray must be one fucking slick ass snake oil salesman to have pulled this coup with this many talented people.
It's not what you know, it's who you know, maybe? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
charisma
Yeah,
can
he's
get you very
probably
far.
hanging out at some bar. Jordan walks in.
Going
and
back
he's
to
like,
Genlock real quick, if
Yeah.
you don't mind.
Yeah.
In the Chinlock podcast.
In this right. So the part where the big missile starts like headed towards like the colonel and everyone, and Chase like grabs it and redirects it and shit, right? Military men, would it have exploded if when he grabbed it from the top from the
It
tip?
it depends on how the fuse is set for that sort of missile.
So does this mean, in theory, we could yeet some missiles without any repercussions?
It would. I
Correct.
think not only that, but I think it would also depend on how he grabbed it. I don't remember that part of the episode, but like, if it's like a bomb head or a warhead on like just a rocket body, then you can theoretically like grab the shaft and yeet it away before the head explodes, and
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
Yeah,
make a
but
pun
basically
from there.
the easy answer to this, and Coop will agree with me here, it just depends on how the fuse is set.
Here's the
So-
thing. Okay, so like your general warhead operates off of well, a proximity based. This is like also on like the guidance system and stuff. So
do I need to do the missile knows where it is because it knows where it isn't at all times,
Yeah.
and by knowing where it isn't, it is able to track itself on course to where it's supposed to be?
This is not a debate over Greek philosophy.
No,
No,
but that's how missiles
We are
work.
not.
yeah,
We
that's
are not
actually
phrasing.
how missiles work.
But that phrasing in circular logic is completely reminiscent of that. And no,
So basically,
no.
here's how it works. The
Mhm.
missile knows where the thing the missile is trying to kill is, and the missile knows when it gets close to the thing that it's trying to kill. And when it gets a sufficient amount close to that thing, it blows
which was
up.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Normally, it's the reason that is because like having a missile that actually like has to hit like a fighter jet that's going like fast is kind of hard. So as long as you get close, the explosion will still fuck it up. So
As far as this episode and what you saw, should it have exploded?
uh, okay, so that's when we get into like specifics of stuff.
Okay.
One, this is a fictional future missile that I don't know the stats on, the specs of.
All right.
Two, I don't even actually know the actual specs of real life missiles. I could ask one of my lad buddies about
Right. I'm completely
Stinger
ignorant when it
missiles,
comes
but
to
they probably
anything.
wouldn't tell me because that's
Yeah.
actually classified information
Yeah.
that
Okay. Well,
is not
I'm
supposed
completely
to get
ignorant when
out.
it comes to weapons, so that's why I'm asking
Yeah.
someone.
I'll say
You could tell
this.
me it fucking
Yeah.
explodes butterflies, and I'd be like, "Ooh, pretty."
At
I
the
don't.
at the
I,
yeah at the very least, it's better than a similar scene from Ruby Volume 6, where Cordova like just straight up catches the missile that's flying at full speed at her hand, and she like just catches it, and then she throws it. It's at least better than that.
So you think that one should have exploded? Then?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it definitely should have exploded.
Yeah.
Especially given like that was like kind of like firmly grasped it for a while and like held before
Firmly
like thrown.
grasp.
The entire shaft.
Mm-hmm.
See now Dashie's interested.
I was just referencing SpongeBob.
Son,
No, you
know how many
weren't.
phallic-
No,
you
you
know
weren't.
How many phallic jokes were made about for the firmly grasp it line? Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, no, you fucking weren't.
Oh no, I thought I was talking about dicks.
Yeah, we all were. We're
I
all
know. I just
we're
like
all
to say it out loud.
we're all dicks now. So
Now.
I don't feel phallic.
the operative word in that sentence, Coop, was all. So you already were, but now we're all dicks. So is there anything else to talk about in this episode? Because let's yes. Yeah, they throw in like a wicked looking chase for like a split second as it like glitches. That was pretty slick. I like it. I like it when openings will like alter things as we get more information and stuff. Yeah, JoJo is fucking excellent about that. Where
Very different genre, but one cool thing, like in a similar sense of an opening very slightly being edited, was even in BoJack Horseman, after a character died, they weren't in the opening shot anymore. They were missing from the party scene that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, and we've already seen Genlock do that with Blaine's character, Sinclair. Like Blaine's name was in the credits for episode 2, and I think episode 1 maybe. But then after that character's death, that name no longer appears in the credits.
Right, but the character's still in the.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they'd have to reanimate stuff. Taking a name out of the credits is a lot easier than trying to like find something to completely replace it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they still have the model and stuff. I feel like they could bring him back. I would like it.
Okay, and real quick, another question. As far as the dance, okay. Fatman was saying like, why? Okay. Do you think that they actually
Well, we
become
know
stronger?
why. Okay, so obviously okay, there's a few reasons why.
I'm sorry, you were cutting out.
Okay, yeah, okay, sorry, time. Okay, so the in-show reason of why they did it is pretty obvious. Because run, they needed to give him an edge in combat. They decided to mind meld to do that, which somehow does that a very unclear way as to how that makes you just better for no reason.
I'm very much here for Genlock Dancing with the Stars.
I would say that the reason why it
I do live
gave
for that, yes.
Kazu an advantage at that point was he basically was able to get a perspective and be able to see everything that was around him.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I understand why and everything, but the one question
That's
that
probably
like
the
stuck
best
with me, the one thing that stuck with me was, does it actually help Kazu become stronger? Not necessarily move better, but does it help him become stronger? Like, do you use both the muscles
I
of both
feel the
people?
best way I would describe it to me is like it's not that he becomes stronger, it's just that he like gets access to like a new combo string, if that makes sense.
Right, like he moves better.
Like it feels like it improves his coordination, and almost like with two minds, like one. Where someone like alone would have had like sensory overload or something, kind of like back to the whole like this feels very much like drift compatibility from Pacific Rim, and I don't dislike that. I'm actually like, oh, that's neat, if a little bit derivative, but I like the root of that concept, and it just seems like, hey, sometimes two brains are better than one to deal with a giant supersized mech body. And I actually do wonder, did they have Valentina in her male model, or was she?
Yes, they did.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that's actually a nice little detail.
That's sexy.
It's
Valentina's my spirit animal.
A little detail.
Tammy used to be, but now it's Valentina.
Valentina's actually like, I wouldn't say like this isn't like oof big deep character, but she's growing on me, and I actually like her cape that she's wearing in this episode.
Cape's dope.
See, my answer to Dashie's question, there's no scale. There's no frame of reference for a scale to suggest that he becomes stronger, because when he's fighting like a spider mech one-on-one, he's like able to cut it in half, and then when he's mind melded with Val, he's still able to cut those same mechs in half. Like there's no like real escalation. The only way to like determine that is like if he like gets hit across the field by the bad guy mech, and then he mind melds, and then he's able to resist that same kind of attack. That's how you would portray something like, oh, it's making him stronger. But as it stands, it just makes him move better.
And also, it would be stupid if it made him stronger, because it's literally a robot that has like basic range of motion and the amount of power, presume whatever kind of servos or whatever they have powering the frame can put out.
Yeah, it just feels like an agility buff almost, and then like an increase in perception.
Pikachu, use agility. Or no. It's more so like using helping hand in Pokemon, actually.
It's kind of okay. So is that this kind of or is a concept that they use earlier that could have been like he could have used to do a similar thing, which was that he could have just overclocked himself.
True.
Yeah, like
going all over the place,
because
right?
they bring up that you herself better reactions to stuff like that. But they decided they wanted to have a dance.
Yeah, I feel like the mind melding is also like just the allegory of like this is the quote unquote like peak team working,
Yeah,
which I will say this is one thing they've done very well throughout the series is like they all do seem to work together really well,
Yes.
and they all do seem to look out for the best interests of each other pretty well too also because like especially in the last episode, Kazoo chops the anti-air turret and it doesn't fall over, and then Valentina knocks it over, and then it's like, oh, that's still counted as mine. So it's like it's
Yeah.
just that sort of stuff
It's
that I
playful, yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what the
Human.
whole mind melding thing is. It's like maximum French. It's like
Yeah,
maximum
it's
anime
it's
friendship.
it's the power for it's this show's version of the power of friendship.
I never thought I'd die fighting side by side with a gender weirdo. How about side by side with a friend? I could do that.
And Dashie hasn't seen Lord of the Rings either, so she doesn't get that reference.
The fuck is wrong with you?
I haven't seen Lord of the Rings either.
The fuck is wrong with you?
I don't remember who said it, but I was social, I guess. I was just in the opposite end of the otaku scale. So just
Yeah.
So you're the person on Twitter calling everyone a fucking weeb.
Yes.
Actually, I have myself on record being that guy, so.
I don't know. I thought it was like Fat Man.
Well, no, like I will.
Like,
I will find myself some of my tweets real quick. Hold on.
So I mean, unless there's any other questions that we all have for each other, I think we can pretty much start like winding it down because like there's no real like need to like try to make predictions because
Yeah, that we literally got
so?
because
There's a very
there's
natural
literally two.
continuity.
So let's do a head count of the lives that we may or may not have lost in that nano cloud.
There's Chad Thundercock,
General Chancla.
yeah, General Chancla, Dakota fan. Other guy,
Miles Mexican.
yes. The doctor is a definite bodied at the very least and potentially dead, so I'm gonna chalk that's up to 5.
Add like one more for like the commander dude who's in charge of the squad, so that's 6.
And then countless numbers of and various civil military workers. So, yeah.
At a minimum of 6 speaking characters that are potentially on the chopping block.
Yep.
So there is that. So yeah, we've got at least 6 at a minimum.
Now
on the chopping block.
here's what I think. I think General is probably in most danger of being the most dead. The guys in the
General.
yeah, the guys in the little chicken walkers, they are pretty likely alive because we see that the knights eat flesh and not robot parts.
And they're wearing the mask. They have their mask like right in front of them. So
yeah, so they can probably get out. And they already have a transportation. So,
I wonder
anybody?
who was yeeted. Anybody know who Bad Chase yeeted? Grabbed one of those things, and anybody know who?
I don't think it was a named character.
Okay.
So, then we have Miles, also essentially dead, but here, and there's not really a good reason for him to still be alive, but I think they should alive just because he's a mechanic and occasionally
If Migas
to
is dead,
fix their
I'm
shit.
done. I'm done.
And then
Best character. He's best girl.
let me see.
Besides
The
Cousin.
The doc obviously he fucking jump on a grenade. So like his dead status is not up in the air in conventional sense. It's just whether his brain upload status is known that we're kind of not too sure about.
Did he remember to pay the internet bill this week?
The
Pretty
easy-
much.
Yeah.
Let's hope he didn't reach his file limit in OneDrive.
Yeah, the cloud service he's subscribed to was having technical difficulties with the servers that day, or something.
And I still say, Fat Man, I swear, there's still time for it to be MILF, the bad guy. I'm telling you, she's gonna turn around.
Whom?
She's gonna be looking for her baby boy.
Oh, the mom?
Yeah, Chase's mom.
I still.
Oh, that gives. So this
I'm
is
kidding,
a
of
thought
course,
that
I don't know.
this is a thought that I had, and remember how it was during the second or third episode we saw like Chase's sister on the in the VR chat.
Right.
Do you
the
think
easy.
that was potentially the original Chase's mind floating around on the internet? Maybe, I don't
Stalking
know.
him? Oh,
Maybe,
that's
yeah, maybe if he's
that
that obsessed with the copy, that would actually kind of make sense.
Not really, because she looked scared when all the bells and whistles were going off. She had a face of fear. Why would the?
Yeah, it's just a thought.
It was a wrong thought, but it was a thought.
You are a thought
also,
high
yeah.
powered.
Why would you upload your brain to a thing that you were currently in the midst of undergoing a mission to destroy?
I just uploaded. I'd upload my brain to a toaster for the hell of it, so you never know. People do dumb shit.
You should upload your bathtub to a toaster, Lilly, and be in it at the same time.
Why not just upload my ankle to a scooter?
Yeah.
That too.
No.
So
Wanna know what is
just
happening?
so going back to what I mentioned earlier, just to check out on this, just an example of me making fun of weebs while also possibly being a weeb myself.
Possibly?
This is
There is no
This is-
possible in that equation.
this
It
is
is
If you
a
call
variable.
somebody a weeb, you're a weeb.
this is a tweet of me from a few weeks ago where it's like, I'm glad Crunchyroll doesn't have a stranglehold on the anime industry. I'm glad Netflix and Amazon and other sites have rights to shows Crunchyroll doesn't. So why do people bitch about it? Why do people groan every time Amazon has exclusive rights? Like, seriously, just get Amazon Prime. It's way more worth it than paying for Crunchyroll's premium whatever. At least with Prime you get you get actual quality content you can rely on. It's not Amazon's fault weebs have shit taste in movies.
Ooh.
Oh.
Damn. But also,
Amazon
Follow.
Amazon Prime does have some really fucking good movies on. They
I
have
have
a real they have
Amazon.
a yeah they have a yeah.
It's alright.
I do not have Amazon Prime right now, so that's not a
Here's the thing, I
shill.
don't have it.
But
I never stream shit on it. I only have it for comics, also
And the
for
shipping.
Audible, which I don't to use that much. I don't have time to listen to fucking audiobooks during.
yeah,
But I will say this: just pirate anime. It's
Yeah,
literally
Yar.
the first search results.
You have to
Anytime you
no,
type something.
Here's the trick: you have to pirate the anime, but you have to buy the body pillows and the figures because that's where they make all their money.
yes,
Yep.
that's what I'm gonna do with Konosuba. I do I'm not the kind of person that collects figurines or merchandise, but I totally want the four main characters from Konosuba figurines on my shelf, and I also want Weiss. She'll be like
Hey,
the only
no,
Ruby
you know what
character I get.
You know what Ruby character would sell like hotcakes though?
So I.
That and Milfcat.
Callie. I don't know. Maybe.
All right. So unless we got closing thoughts, I think we can get ready to shut this down.
Yeah.
No, I think we're good.
Yep.
Yeah. Well written
Plug what you gotta
episode.
plug.
Well written episode. Terrible animation. Really brought down a lot of the dramatic action moments though. So it's all right. I'd say it's an all right episode all around. I'm interested to see where they go from here. That's the first time in a while that I've said that about the show. Where I'm legitimately interested to see how this all plays out. So if you like this video and you want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe, and consider supporting my Patreon. Every dollar helps immensely. And you can follow me on Twitter at EA Mediocrity4. And you can also find my fanfictions on fanfiction.net. It's mostly Ruby stuff, though I'm working on some other things as well as I write my own actual book in my free time.
I need to finish that because I'm far more interested.
Yeah, I mean it's coming along. It's coming along. I have at least one full chapter done of it now. So that's all for me. Anyone else got anything to plug?
Plug. Yeah.
That is
Okay.
it. I promise I'll get back to work on my fan fiction.
And if you or a loved one suffering from a digital copy of your brain uploaded to a cyber robot, call the helpful hotline at 1-800. I used this joke before, but I'm doing it again because I can't
100, this joke is
think
dead.
better.
Anyway, if you want...
Despite these
If
victims
you
only
want-
representing 13% of the population.
Oh no! I
Yeah.
can't believe she did it!
We almost went a full podcast without making 13% joke, Lily. I hope you realize that.
We got it in.
I am
Mission
also-
accomplished, boys. We're going home.
We
Follow
got
me on
him.
Twitter at Dashie_Lee, and I'm trying to bring it back around somehow. I don't know.
Yep.
Just
You'll
trying to
never
help
bring it
you
back
guys.
around.
All right.
Uh,
Oh, and
Rep
reactions
Team
for Fat
Clav.
Man Falling and Celtic Phoenix Productions and
Yep.
Six. Is it Six Slick or Slick Slick? I should know
it's
this.
it's Tom.
It's Tom. It's Tom.
Like the guy who friended me on MySpace?
You know, now that you say it.
But
Anyway,
anyway,
y'all have a good night, and
Free
we'll
Vic.
see you next time
Farewell.
on the
Y'all have a good night.
podcast.